Hey everybody, it's Kira. Welcome back to Glow Beauty Wellness here on YouTube. And in today's video, I am going to be doing a response video. A comment was left under one of my recent uploads. And the comment was, can you talk about your situation with relapsing with wine and champagne? And absolutely, of course I can, I will. Let's get into it. So if you have been here for a while, you know my thing is wine. I started to really fall in love with wine and champagne in my early 20s, like literally like 21. It's my drink of choice. I don't do hard liquor. I cannot do the hard liquor. I do not do shots. Anytime I've ever done a shot, I felt like literal death. And so I don't do those things. I stick with the wine and the champagne. I stay in that lane. And the problem is when we love something, we can sometimes overindulge. And I have come to terms with that. I overindulge in wine and champagne often when I am not being mindful of my actions. And I want to say that I have never been formally diagnosed with alcoholism or anything like that. And I feel like even if somebody tried to give me that label, I would reject it because this is what happens when you allow a habit to become deeply ingrained, a bad habit at that. And the thing is that we all have habits. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. The reason why I label this wine and champagne thing a bad habit is because it can be very costly if you are the one purchasing these expensive bottles and taxing on your health. I happen to be very lucky to not look like the bottle has taken a toll. And I'm going to attribute that to the fact that I don't drink hard liquor or anything like that. And then I also, it's like the one thing. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't do recreational drugs. I live a pretty balanced life. It's the one sole thing that I am like actively working towards. And so the one thing to know, and the one thing I keep trying to remind myself is that it is literally poisoning the body. It does not matter if it is one red wine glass a day. That is obviously better than a whole bottle, right? But there are studies that can support both, but more both sides of the argument that one glass a day is okay. It's antioxidants, it's got all these great things in it. And then we also have many more studies that show that, drinking alcohol, there's really no benefits to it. So it is something that I still have to be mindful of. Some things that I try to do. I try not to bring whole bottles of anything into the house because it'll be gone. I practically work from home. I don't do a lot of work outside of my house anymore. So it would be very easy, like instead of having this really lovely white rose tea, it'd be really easy to say, let me go ahead and get a glass of wine, as well. So I have to be really mindful and intentional. I have talked about this book, The Neurogenesis Diet and Lifestyle, on my channel before, and I believe the author hits on alcohol in here. But alcohol is not good for the brain, and I'm gonna explain a little bit why when we talk about this book called The Brain Saver by the Medical Medium. Pick up both of them. I believe they're both in my Amazon store, and I'll keep that, and I'll have that link in the description. Yes, I get a little bit of commission kickback. I mean, why not help us out? You know what I'm saying? Help me out. Help me help you. So alcohol helps to kill our brain cells. Okay, just like smoking, just like life. No, really. So we have alcohol that does affect the brain, and we have smoking that affects the brain. We have emotional disturbances and things like that that kill the brain, the healthy brain cells as well. So if every single day we're drinking and we're not being mindful of the other things that we're doing, we're just literally killing our brain. And we need our brain to be healthy in order to have a healthy, happy, balanced life. Okay, if we are constantly killing our healthy brain cells that help us navigate through life, help us be happy, help us be balanced, help us have amazing conversations, help us just enjoy life. If we're killing those brain cells, then what are we doing? We're slowly dying, because it makes no sense if you live to 90, but you are batshit crazy. Okay, so get this book for sure, because it talks about the things that we can do in our daily lives to help care for our brain and counteract, the alcohol. And I feel like this is why, again, in that other video where I talked about anti-aging, all of my other healthy activities help to counter the damage that I'm doing to myself when I drink wine, or if I over drink wine. We take for granted the miracle of our body, because as terrible as we can feel, after a night of drinking, if we give our body fluids and replenish those B vitamins that we lose every time that we drink, the body bounces back. So especially after 2020, and especially after having COVID myself and knowing the effects of COVID in the brain, that's why I am being more intentional about how much I drink. I'm not perfect. There are some, especially recently, there are some times where I overdo it. But I am being more mindful of all of my other activities, as well as trying to unpack this very deeply ingrained neural pathway, which is a habit, which is, drinking too much. Anyways, so let's talk about what the medical medium talks about in regards to alcohol consumption in the brain. Alcohol, of course, I went straight to this chapter because I'm trying to figure out how much alcohol can I actually have, how much is actually okay, so that I can ration myself properly, which is, anyways. So this chapter says brain charades. Really, alcohol is methyl sugar. It's a hybrid of what was sugar, more of a vaporized sugar versus a usable sugar. Alcohol's essence is sugar, yet it's not. And this is dangerous because our brains need sugar to function. Remember, without glucose, your brain cannot survive. The liver fulfilling its role is why someone can do a water fast and their brain can survive the experience, because the liver is releasing ample glucose. Glycogen reserves in the brain and glucose reserves in the liver determine how long someone can withstand a water fast. Blah, blah, blah. So why is this important? Essentially, as we are poisoning our liver, we are forcing our brain to consume toxic alcohol, or to have the alcohol be the fuel, which is poison to the body. This book also talks about how our brain has now become a filter for all the toxins in our existence as human beings. So the liver is stressed out, the brain is using fake sugar as fuel, and that's why we feel like all over the place in a mess when we're drinking. And that over time is going to cause damage, obviously, to our health. So where I'm at today with this whole alcohol habit is I still struggle. I still, my body craves the cold wine, the champagne bubbles, the Prosecco. And it's a habit that I'm working diligently on to break. So some of the things that I try to do is not bring a whole bottle of alcohol into the house, to not be tempted to drink it all. Another thing that I am doing is I consume magnesium at night. I drink it in a tea, and it's called Calm. I believe that's in my Amazon store as well. So I'll drink that so that I can just go to sleep. If I have a glass of wine and I'm like, I really would like another glass because it'll help me sleep, the magnesium helps me sleep as well. And remembering that the more I allow this habit to control me, to have control of me, the more it's affecting my health, right? So trying to keep in mind that this habit is literally not providing any benefit to my life. If this is something that you struggle with, alcohol literally does nothing good for us, right? It has mostly done more bad than good for those of us that love it. We do things that we would not normally do. We say things that we would not normally do. And when we overindulge, we feel like shit the next day. And if you did something you wouldn't normally do, and if you said something you wouldn't normally do, it's just a recipe for disaster. So with that being said, if you are somebody that struggles with alcohol consumption, I would first be kind to yourself, because everybody is going through something. Everybody has a struggle, whether it is food, alcohol, drugs, things like that. Be kind to yourself, but also figure out what support you need. Do as much research as you can on the effects of alcohol in your health. That way, you know full well what you're doing, and then you get to have that conversation with yourself that goes a little something like this. Okay, if you love yourself, then why are you doing this? If you know that drinking a bottle of wine a day is detrimental to your health, why are you doing this? So we have to have those conversations with ourselves, and be honest with ourselves about why we are actually drinking. Have those conversations. Do as much research on the effects of alcohol as possible, and assess your situation. Assess your situation honestly, so that you know what it is you need to do so that you can live your best, healthiest life. I hope that this video was helpful. If you have any other tips, please leave them in the comment section below. Make sure you share this with somebody that is struggling. Make sure you let them know that they are not alone. But also, let's normalize holding our friends and family accountable when it comes to living a healthier lifestyle and creating those habits that support our goals. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.